Portions of this video contain information obtained from various sources deemed reliable, but its accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. The views and opinions expressed herein are those of the individuals providing the information and do not necessarily reflect the views of Houston Curtis or Card Sharp Consulting. Viewers are encouraged to conduct their own independent research and verification.
Today, card cheating, money laundering, drug running, tax evasion, illegal gambling, and prostitution. Let's go. Welcome to part 3 of my Texas Poker Cheats Exposed investigation. This video sheds new light on the recent cheating caught on tape at Legends Poker Room and Elite Social Club in Houston, Texas, along with some shocking new video. Plus, I'll be answering some important questions from the comments, demonstrating some mind-numbing sleight of hand, and exposing more cheating moves and card hustles that you all need to be aware of. All this and more, so let's get started right now. Well, yeehaw everybody, I am Houston Curtis, and today, for my follow-up video to Texas Poker Cheats Exposed Part 3, I am dropping the mother load. I've got a ton of new insider information on these cheating a-holes, and I can tell you one thing right now. If I still had my Stetson cowboy hat, I'd be wearing it during this video because I am convinced that Houston, Texas truly is the Wild West of the poker world. And I've got some alarming new intel to share, including some video footage that blew my mind when it was sent to me. It's been a few weeks since Sean D posted these cheating dealers on Twitter X, and I dissected them for you. And I'll be honest, I had no idea if you would appreciate my content or if you just troll the hell out of me. Die. So I'm pleased to tell you that since the release of my first 2 videos, my channel has received over 1,000 new subscribers, surpassing the 5,000 sub milestone, over 6,000 hours of watch time, and is now approaching 6,000 subs, resulting in hundreds of comments, likes, and shares. And seeing this has inspired me to make a promise to you, the poker community, to arm you with decades of poker protection knowledge. I'm not only going to teach you how to spot scumbags from a mile away, but I'll add poker protection expertise to your skill set through my weekly videos and my blog, Poker Cheating Exposed. Now there's a lot of stuff to cover today, but before I go any further, please do me a favor. If you haven't already, take just a second to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and ding the bell for future notifications. It's how we collectively hustle the YouTube algorithm to continue placing this content in front of the poker community, which will help not only protect the game that we love so much, but I promise you, it will help protect your bankroll as well. Okay, let's dive in. We've got a lot of fascinating ground to cover today. For one, I'll be showing you some new footage that quite frankly shocked the hell out of me. I'll be sharing some insider information from an anonymous deep throat whistleblower based in Houston, Texas. I'll be answering some great questions about the cheaters in the original videos and other aspects of poker cheating that you guys left in the comments, and covering a few important details I failed to share in parts 1 and 2. And I'll give you the final word on what came out of my Twitter dispute with Triton Poker TD Luca Vivaldi, who publicly promised he would apologize for defending the cheating dealer from Elite Social if I could convince him otherwise. And finally, by popular demand, I'll be performing some pro-level sleight of hand that cheaters use to rob you blind. And as always, I'll be giving you the tools to protect yourself if you come across one of these cheating scams, either in your home game or at whatever card room you're playing at. What started out as an investigation into card cheating caught on tape has taken a much darker turn. According to my sources, hiring cheating poker dealers is just the tip of the iceberg compared to what's going on over at the Legends Poker Room owned by David Law and Elite Social Club owned by Vin Nguyen. Now these two owners now compete against each other, but sources tell me that they were one-time partners in an illegal gambling operation in California.
My mother used to say, birds of a feather flock together. If you run around with losers, you will end up a loser.
My anonymous source also pointed me to an organization called the Houston Organized Poker Enthusiast, or HOPE. I tried calling the Hope hotline to speak to someone, but the number has been disconnected. One thing I can tell you though, they have an unbridled hatred for David Law, who owns Legends Poker Room, as can be witnessed on their website, where Law's home address is plastered on the main page. The site provides a laundry list of criminal activity they claim Law is responsible for, shares several court documents that illustrate how Law fled California after being ousted as CEO from the Normandy Casino, since sold to Hustler and renamed the Lucky Lady, and my anonymous whistleblower whistleblower went on to point out several other nefarious things Law has done since arriving to Houston, Texas, and opening 52 Social, which is now Elite Social, and later opening Legends. Now, my source in Texas tells me that David Law is building a criminal empire in Houston, operating with impunity, and that other card rooms are starting to follow his formula, resulting in what truly has become the wild, wild west of today's multi-million-dollar poker business.
Ooh la la.
Now, when I asked my source what crimes David Law's been committing, his answer was, well, let's see. Money laundering, tax evasion, cheating and robbing his customers, illegal gambling, and prostitution. Prostitution? When I pressed further, he told me that David Law also owns an illegal brothel nicknamed La La Land, located just 4 doors down from Legends. He was also kind enough to share the slogan of this house of ill repute, "You never get a bad beat at La La Land." Actually named the Hong Kong Spa, one patron recently posted, "Legends is official now. Nothing says poker like a happy ending." But that ending may not be happy after all, as my source tells me that Legends and Elite not only have boy card mechanics, but they partner with the house players to rob the poker patrons in their own club. I mean, this is reminiscent of Doyle Brunson stories from the old days, rounding throughout Texas with Sailor Roberts and Amarillo Slim, but it's 2024. This is happening right now. Not only that, but I'm told that over 20 patrons from Legends have been followed home and robbed after leaving their establishment. So what happens when a criminal business operator with a mob mentality starts breaking every law there is? Things get dicey. Who knows? Maybe a pissed off patron decides to do something about it.
The information we have right now is that we had a male armed with a rifle come in the door of a poker room. The gun discharged 10 to 15 times. Announced that it was a holdup. As he was doing that, a security officer was able to get behind him, tackle him. They then started fighting over the gun. As they were fighting over the gun, 45 to 50 people inside the business when this happened. We were very lucky that nobody was shot. The security officer and I believe some other people in the business were able to hold the male down until officers got here and he's in custody.
I don't know about you, but when Houston, Texas' most successful card room is being operated like a criminal empire, you can probably expect to see more shootings, cheating, prostitution, and money laundering until the feds decide to step in and shut this place down for good. All right, now let's move on to Elite Social. Elite Social is home to the poker cheat featured in my Part 2 video of Texas Poker Cheats Exposed, where I pointed out the various cheating methods used. We're also going to talk about Luca Vivaldi, the tournament director for Triton Poker, who, for some reason, when all this first blew up, started piping in telling me that I didn't know what I was talking about and the guy was 100% mixing the cards. Now, Luca told me that he would apologize if I proved him wrong, which I would think that my video would have clearly shown that. But before we get into whether it did or not, let's take a look at a few of the comments. Here's one from @YourUnclePhil. Why would this Luca fellow make this statement? It is so obviously cheating. I assume he's not impartial and knows someone connected. @Withouters, 100% suspicious behavior, and the TD vouching after this video makes it even more suspicious. Stuart Weath, that is so ridiculously obvious when you slow it down and explain the TD has to be in on it. Could a guy in that position of trust be that stupid or naive? I highly doubt it. Great work. So I think everyone pretty much agrees with me, but there were, like 2% of the people out there who still wondered if he is somehow mixing the cards. Even one of Matt Berkey's poker buddies from his podcast was confused. El Guapo. Let's take a look.
The Houston Curtis video, I had mentioned it yesterday that he was going to put a video out demonstrating how these mechanics were cheating. We have a brief clip here of him demonstrating exactly that.
Take a closer look. Riffling the deck from the ends to spot high-value cards is used in riffle stacking and cold stacking. Being done right here, allowing the cheater to then carry that slug over, restoring it to the top of the deck. Do you guys need any more proof than this? Let me know what you think in the comments.
Now,
that was amazing.
Seems pretty clear to me.
Yeah.
That guy's
When he
a
breaks it
mechanic.
down like that, it's unreal.
Play devil's advocate, Guap. He told me he doesn't see it.
I don't see it. I've watched it a few times, and
Let me say it real slow and real loud. I'm blind.
This is why he thought Robbie was innocent.
Of course it is.
I love the Robbie comment from Melissa. Okay, Guapo. So here's the difference between cold stacking and riffle stacking versus the push-through shuffle that the guy from Legends was doing. In the push-through, he had already secured his stack before he started to shuffle. So he did a complete false shuffle. Now, when you are cold stacking or riffle stacking, you are stacking the cards while you are shuffling. So therefore, there should be some type of mix. This is what drove me crazy about Luca. He talked about one false shuffle he knew, and then just kept swearing he was mixing the cards. The bottom line is, if he could riffle stack better than he was doing, he wouldn't have been holding such a huge slug. But he was moving really fast, so he held that big slug. But I guarantee you, he was stacking the deck while he was shuffling it. All right, so the big takeaway is sometimes a mechanic is trying to secure the order of the deck during the riffle shuffle, like the guy from Legends who did it horribly, and other times the guy is trying to manipulate the order of the deck during the riffle shuffle, like the guy from Elite. Either way, they're both cheating scumbags, and that's all I've been wanting to point out. But if you look at all the things that I pointed out in my part 2 video, from the way he riffled the cards to the out jog, especially to the way he cut from the break, going to the cut card, 100% cheating. All right, bud, have a good WSOP. The big question is, did Luca send me that apology? I even sent him a message on Twitter asking if he saw the video, and he's gone radio silent. I think you still owe me that apology, and I'll just assume that you were too embarrassed to send it, because I would hate to think that you somehow vouched for this dealer who is dealing in Texas and is a 100% straight up card cheat. Okay, so I hope we're done with that and moving on. And with regard to Elite Social, there was another disturbing comment. I felt bad for this guy, at Landon Piper 1467. He goes on to say that he has been assaulted at Elite Social, and one time a guy called his all-in, and after he showed, he grabbed his chips and ran out the door. He goes on to say management did not make it right. They told me they would flag his account and collect it upon his return. That was over a year ago. I raised hell and was kicked out by security. The sum ended up being about $100. So for that reason, I assumed Elite would make it right. I always felt like something was up at these places, especially late into the evening. Very thankful for your post.
He put the chips in his purse, and then you guys took off with it.
That doesn't sound like us.
What's even worse about all this, guys, is Legends Poker Room and Elite Social Club, they're not even the worst actors involved in what is happening in Houston. My resources tell me that in Dallas and in Austin, they are not having the kind of issues that they're having in Houston, Texas. Okay, they're running clean clubs for the most part. Sure, there's going to be incidents. But why is it that you can go to Dallas and Austin and get a clean game, and you go to Houston and it is like a criminal underworld? Things have run amok. Take a look at this footage that was sent to me from another poker room called Lucky Aces. If you look at their website, at first it looks like a clean site, but then I've got some video from Lucky Aces Poker. Take a look. These guys are running full-blown table games. They're running Pie Gal. They're running Blackjack. They're running a bust-out joint casino, just completely skirting the law. You start one bad action, it leads to another and another and another, and the next thing you know, you're doing an 8-ball with David Law over at La La Land in a crazy orgy, and God knows what else is going to happen, okay?
You ready for craziest fucking story of...
The Houston poker scene needs to get cleaned up. Now, I can't verify this, but my source has reason to believe the feds already have eyes on these illegal operators, and a raid is imminent. When they do, there are going to be a few honest clubs left. And I would highly suggest, if you're playing in Houston, Texas, go support clubs like Champions, Texas Card House, or Prime Social. These places have shown that they are operating within the confines of the law. They are not raking pots. They are charging the hourly fee. They're paying their employees properly. I've also been told in some of these other clubs that dealers are getting treated like exotic dancers do in some strip clubs, where they got to pay a fee to come in and deal. I've been told that Legends has up to 50 house players, 50 guys playing on the house. So if you got 50 guys playing in the house and then you add card mechanics to it, you're basically there to rob every patron blind that walks through the door.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
And let's face it, a shady ran poker room is always going to attract shady clientele, drug dealers, money launderers, and a variety of criminal offenders who will continue flooding the city of Houston until someone puts their foot down. If California revoked David Law's gaming license for money laundering, you'd think the city of Houston will eventually wise up and realize they've let a wolf into the hen house. Guy called me the other day, said there are 2 games running at Elite Social. Both games were all house players. They're waiting for marks to come in and take them down. Guys, this has to end. So if you're playing in Houston, Texas, go support a club that is operating under the current laws provided by the state. I'm told the 3 most stand-up card rooms in Houston are carrying a burn rate in excess of $500,000 a month. They're losing money because of all the bad actors who are running table games, who are taking illegal rakes, who are doing all kinds of nefarious things, bringing in card cheaters, having house players and card cheaters take down the patrons. These clubs may not be around long enough to give Houston proper poker. If they don't survive, then when they come in and shut down all these other places, they're not gonna want it to start back up again, right? So start throwing your business to whatever clubs you know are operating within the law. That will be one way to protect poker in Houston, Texas moving forward. Now, over the past few weeks, you guys have asked a lot of great questions, including a few of you who have asked the same question Ship de Mustard is asking. Thanks for the video. Can you tell me why it's important for the dealer to do a one-handed cut? Well, we are going to get into that right now. All right, it's time for some card cheating protection tips and sleight of hand. So I want to show you guys the importance of the one-handed cut. All right. So just through those actions right there, I've got the aces to the top, okay? But I still have to keep them there after the cut. So now you go into your standard riffle, box, riffle. Now we're going to cut the deck. And those aces have still been controlled to the top. But notice that was not a one-handed cut. All right, and I'll show you different cuts in future videos. But right now, let me show you one cut that a lot of cheaters use. All right, so by however means necessary, you control a slug to the top. We're only using the 4 aces as an example. You would never use this in a real game. All the cheat does when they go to do the riffle shuffle, first of all, you can short shuffle all day long. God damn it. First off, you can short shuffle the cards all day long. A short shuffle, it looks almost like a normal shuffle. You're just shuffling to where your slug that's on top remains on top. And no matter how many times I shuffle it, those 4 aces are still on top. Okay, so now let's add a card in the shuffling process to the top of that. So there's 1 card on top of those aces. Okay, now there's the riffle, and here's the box, and here's the riffle. All right, now I'm gonna cut to that cut card, okay? Notice that those 4 aces still remain on top, okay? How did that happen? Well, remember, I told you that I shuffled 1 card on top of them, right? Notice that right there. That card goes on top. I did a false box where I knew where those aces were. Then I shuffled them and the card that's on top back on top in the final shuffle. And then you put your cut card out in front. Now what you're supposed to do is do a one-handed cut to the cut card. But instead, I used 2 hands, I picked up the deck, and I made a cut like that. Now that is called a slip cut, all right? Those aces stay on top. It's a complete false cut. All right, I'm gonna show you with the aces face up. We're gonna put one card on top of it. And when the cheat picks up the deck and goes to make this cut, they are slipping the top card off and putting the bottom back on bottom and the top back on top. All they're doing is getting rid of that indifferent top card, and it makes it look like you have a complete cut when you don't. This is very deceiving. So the way to thwart this is to make sure that you never see a guy picking up the deck like that. Now that was a legitimate cut, and that legitimate cut looks no different than that false cut, okay? Which then keeps those aces on the top. As you can see here at full speed, it is impossible to tell the difference between the true cut and the false cut. Even at 50% speed, it is nearly impossible to tell the difference. It's not until we go down to 10% that you can see the difference between the slip cut and the true cut. All right, that's one more reason out of many that I will show you going forward that you need to do a one-handed cut to the cut card. All right, and not just one-handed, but remember, the guy at Elite never took his hands off the deck, and he was holding a break to protect a slug before going into that final cut. So after the final riffle shuffle, make sure your dealer's hands come completely off the deck before going to a one-handed cut. And those are two great tips that should save you a fortune down the road. All you would have to do is the moment you spot a dealer doing that, say, ho, stop. You need to reshuffle those cards and do a one-handed cut. And make sure he gets his hands off them when he brings the cut card around. All right? So in summary, you should now know you make sure your dealer takes all hands off the deck before going to the cut card. 2, you never allow your dealer to have 2 hands on the deck during a cut. And 3, in the case of the Legends cheat, never allow the dealer to place the cut card out front before going to the cut. This knowledge might just save you your entire bankroll. So you're welcome. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you back next week for another episode of Poker Cheating Exposed on both my blog and my YouTube channel, where each week I'll uncover new cheating scandals to warn you about, reveal secrets cheaters use to manipulate the deck, from masterful sleight of hand to mark cards, team collusion, and mind-blowing modern technology that will shock and amaze you. This series will dive into recent and past cheating scandals, where I'll be providing expert insight on topics ranging from the infamous Jack 4 Robbie and Garrett hand to poker's most legendary cheats, scams, and hustles. The series promises to be as entertaining as it is informative, so if there's a cheating accusation you want me to weigh in on, a card hustle you want exposed, or if you have footage of players or dealers that you believe to be cheating that you would like me to review, just drop me a line in the comments or send me an email to stacked@cardsharp.com. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I'm Houston Curtis, and remember, stay sharp, stay card sharp.